In a quiet American town where autumn leaves dance through empty streets, an old man sat alone on a weathered porch, watching the world rush past his wooden gate. His name was Henry, and though his hands trembled with age, his eyes held a clarity that young people often searched for, but rarely found in their hurried lives. A young woman named Sarah, stressed and exhausted from her corporate job in the city, had moved next door seeking escape, but found only her anxieties followed her. One evening, as Sarah struggled with overgrown weeds in her new yard, Henry called out gently, "You're fighting the garden when you could simply be with it." Sarah looked up, confused and slightly annoyed, but something in his tone made her pause, made her actually listen instead of simply hearing words pass by unnoticed. "The weeds will grow regardless of your anger. The bills will come whether you worry or not, and the world will spin without asking your permission to turn." Sarah sat back in the grass, letting the dirt stay on her hands for once, feeling the cool earth beneath her, while Henry continued from his porch perch. Peace isn't found by controlling everything around you. It's discovered when you stop trying to control anything at all and simply accept what is present. She thought of her endless to-do lists, the emails she hadn't answered, the expectations she carried like stones in her pockets, heavy burdens she'd forgotten she chose to carry. "But how?" Sarah asked finally, her voice small against the evening crickets. "How do you just stop caring about everything that matters?" Henry smiled, not the condescending smile of someone who thought they knew better, but the gentle smile of someone who had once asked that exact same question himself. "You don't stop caring," he said softly. "You stop resisting. There's a profound difference between the two that most people never learn in their entire lives." He gestured toward the sky, where stars were beginning to pierce the darkening blue. "Those stars don't resist the night. They simply shine through it regardless." Over the following weeks, Sarah began visiting Henry's porch each evening, not for answers, but for the quiet space his presence somehow created around him effortlessly. She learned that peace wasn't absence of chaos, it was presence of acceptance, the ability to watch storms without becoming them, to feel pain without being destroyed by it. "My late wife," Henry shared one cool October evening, "used to say that suffering comes from wanting life to be different than it is right now, in this exact moment." Sarah felt tears she didn't know she'd been holding, not sad tears exactly, but the kind that come when something true finally breaks through years of accumulated armor and pretense. "I've spent so much energy," she whispered, "trying to fix my life, to make it perfect, when maybe it was already whole, just different than I planned." Henry nodded slowly. Wholeness isn't perfection, it's integration, accepting every broken piece as part of the complete picture, including the cracks that let the light shine through. The weeks became months. Autumn turned to winter, and Sarah found herself arguing less with reality, complaining less about circumstances, and simply being present more often than before. Her corporate job still demanded long hours. The bills still arrived each month without fail, but somehow the weight felt different, lighter, like she'd finally set down invisible bags. One December evening, as snow began to fall softly over the quiet American street, Sarah asked, "Does it ever get easier, this practice of acceptance and letting go?" Henry chuckled, his breath visible in the cold air. "Easier? No. But you become stronger, like a tree that bends in storms instead of breaking against them stubbornly." Sarah watched the snow accumulate on the porch railing, each flake unique, yet part of something larger, temporary, yet somehow perfectly designed for its brief purpose. "You know what I've learned?" she said quietly. "Peace isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a practice you return to, again and again, each moment a new beginning." Henry smiled with genuine pride, the kind a teacher feels when a student finally grasps something that can't simply be taught, only discovered through their own authentic journey. The snow fell heavier now, blanketing the street in quiet white, muffling the distant sounds of traffic and chaos, creating a cathedral of stillness around their small, shared space. "Will you be okay?" Sarah asked, suddenly aware of Henry's age, the fragility of this moment. "If I need to keep learning this same lesson over and over?" Henry reached over with his trembling hand, placing it gently on hers. "That's the beautiful secret nobody tells you. We're all still learning it, every single day until our very last." In that moment, Sarah understood completely. Peace wasn't about having all the answers or solving every problem. It was about being okay with not knowing, with uncertainty, with impermanence itself. The snow continued falling, indifferent to their conversation, covering the world with temporary beauty, reminding them that everything changes, and somehow that was exactly as it should be. "Thank you," Sarah whispered, not just to Henry, but to the snow, to the evening, to every difficult moment that had brought her here, to this exact peaceful present. Henry simply nodded, understanding that some of the most profound thank yous aren't spoken to people at all, but offered to the universe itself for its mysterious and perfect timing. As midnight approached, the street completely silent now, Sarah realized she'd stopped searching for peace, and in that very surrender, had finally found it, waiting patiently all along. The old man's secret, she finally understood, wasn't a secret at all. It was simply this: stop fighting what is, and learn to dance with reality, exactly as it unfolds before you. And somewhere in that quiet, snowy December night, amid an ordinary American town, two souls sat together, one teaching, one learning, both discovering peace was always there, hidden in plain sight, waiting in the simple act of letting go.